Hey folks, this is Frank from the Non-Productive Network, wishing all of you a happy birthday 2020. That's not what anybody says. A happy new year from everyone here at Non-Pro. Yeah, that's it. In this new year, we need your help to make our network better than ever, just by answering a few questions. Go to non-productive.com/survey and tell us a little bit about what you want from our shows. And you can enter for a chance to win a fabulous thank you prize and, of course, get the opportunity to sound off about everything you think about our station. Once again, that's non-productive.com/survey, and thanks for all your support.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Dave. Do we curse on this podcast?
Yes, Eric. Yes, we do.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls.
Along with our journeys as collectors. Happy New Year.
Hi.
We are back.
Yep.
I hope everybody had a absolutely wonderful holiday. Dave and I saw a lot of each other over the holiday.
Yeah, as relatives have a tendency to do.
So we're excited to be back. First episode of 2020. We're gonna go through some news and hauls. There's been some really interesting kind of like blips of news in the past couple days. And of course we'll talk about what we got around Christmas. I actually got picked up an interesting sale the day after Christmas. And then our main topic today will be some of our favorite stuff from 2019. Not necessarily just the things that we bought, but just our favorite toy stuff that we saw in 2019.
Yeah. I mean, there's no need for pause for effect there. It was
straightforward. I got
accurate.
All right. So I'll kick it off with some news just because I've been pretty excited about this. I am not a DC collector, but I have long kept my eye on the DC multiverse figures when Mattel was producing them. To the point where I was thinking, not necessarily for my main display here at the house, but I have a little display on my desk at work that kind of keeps my zen. I was thinking it would be fun to have a kind of just a really good Batman and a really good Joker for that. And the last wave, unbeknownst to me, it being the last wave of the Mattel multiverse figures, they had a really cool 89 inspired like black Batman and not necessarily like a Jack Nicholson looking Joker, but it was akin to a lot of like the Joker art that they used for that movie. So like the really like elongated chin.
Yeah, I would say it was kind of a Killing Joke Joker in a way.
Yeah. Reminded me a lot of the Squirting Flower Toy Biz figure from those like
Fair.
With the gold card backs.
Yeah, same kind of concept or principle, I guess.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that was the end of that line, and when I saw them in person, I was not very impressed with the final product. The paint apps were all kind of sloppy on all of them. They looked a little cheap. They did not hold up to what they looked like in the promo pictures. So, doing a little digging, and I think we mentioned it on one of the early episodes, but McFarlane Toys is taking over that line, and they're changing it up a little bit. They're moving it to a 7-inch scale, so they're a little bit bigger than the Marvel Legends, which is a choice. But over the past couple days, today is the 2nd. Starting yesterday, late on the 1st, there started to be some leaks, and today some official images, which we posted on our Instagram, by the way, which is at AIC_podcast on Instagram if you're not following us. But we posted them there. They look interesting. They have the first Build-A-Figure for the wave is actually a Batmobile.
But it's not. It's like a small Batmobile.
Yeah, it's not. I guess it's meant to be displayed separately. Yeah, it does not scale with the figures. The only vehicle they've announced so far is the Bat Raptor, I believe it's called. It looks like a bat cycle to me.
For the Batman Who Laughs.
I think it's for the other Batman, just the one that's called Batman. Like they, so the line.
I'm pretty sure that was a Batman Who Laughs vehicle, but I could be wrong.
Okay, I think the picture they had of it had the regular Batman in it, but maybe that was just for the purposes of taking that photo. But it is an interesting. It looks like maybe it's 2 waves that they're showing off from the get go, and it's a mix. So there's a Bruce Timm style animated Batman and Superman.
Which that Batman, the animated series Batman, is cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool. They still to me look like early promo pictures, so I'm not sure what the final product is gonna actually look like. There's a lot of odd gaps, especially in like the chest like ab crunch area. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna look like officially in the box in person. But yeah, there's the Batman, the Superman. Then they have just a Batman and Superman that are kind of a general all-purpose Batman and Superman. Superman comes with a flight stand, which is a really nice touch. Um, they have a Nightwing, a Batgirl, a Harley Quinn in the style of the Bruce Timm animation. I think the Harley Quinn is actually supposed to be from that new Harley Quinn show on the DC streaming service.
Do you mean where like the torso pieces meet?
Yes.
I mean, that's
It looks more of a gap than I'm used to seeing in modern figures, which makes me think that they're still models. They're like final models. They're not production. Because that's the only time that we see that kind of stuff. Because even on like some of the Marvel Legends, when they had at New York Comic Con, when Hasbro was showing off some of the final models, like the hand painted final models, they had that look to them because the way that they're assembled and painted, since they're done by hand, they don't fit as kind of snugly as we're used to seeing finals fit. But we'll see once they're on shelves, which apparently is soon. Like it could be before the end of the month. I saw that Toy Shiz was posting Targets in California already have labels on the
Oh.
racks for them. So I mean they're inbound. They already have codes and stuff. So I mean they're coming in. Um the and then they had a comics or a cartoon style Green Lantern, not Hal Jordan, who's the
John Stewart.
John Stewart, thank you. Um and then they had I saw a picture of Arrow, Green Arrow,
But Stephen Amell.
but in the style of the CW show.
Yeah. There was a Batgirl too that looked pretty good.
Yeah, Batgirl did look good.
I mean, they look good.
Yeah, the best feel I got for them was that Entertainment Earth video where they had some early product. And seeing just like a person hold them and kind of, move them around a little bit gives you an idea of the scale, which they look big. Like they look bigger than almost like a Marvel Select.
But not that big.
They look bigger than a Marvel Legend, but the Marvel Selects are bigger than the Marvel Legends. So I would say I'd put them more in that scale. Which I mean is a shame for we got firsthand experience watching a small child play with Marvel Legends over the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome to see, by
Accurate.
the way. But it's it's unfortunate for kids that buy these because they're not going to scale. Like Batman's going to be as tall as the Hulk. If you have the Marvel Legends, and I feel like crossover play, like we used to have when we were kids, is so important because you never get to see it, otherwise.
Yeah,
But
which is apparently where like, Storm and Super 7 are doing it right with the their wrestling figures.
yeah, for
in
sure.
Boss fight.
So well, it's left to be seen how it goes. McFarlane has a long history of putting out some really cool shit. So, we'll see what they continue to do with the line. I know there are some people that absolutely love the Mattel line, and they're kind of, disappointed that the new multiverse stuff isn't going to scale with their old stuff. But, it's left to be seen what happens with it. The other big piece of news that I had was did I have another piece of news? I thought I did. Let's see.
I don't know. While you find that, I can do one.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's bunch of pops were kind of announced / released. You had the Mandalorian Wave 2, all the characters that you didn't need to know about until you watched it.
Get me a Werner Herzog pop.
Yeah, Werner Herzog is pretty insane that exists.
Need it.
So basically, everything you needed to know more than the Mandalorian, the Child, and Cara Dune. There's also a Carl Weathers, so that's cool. Then
I'm trying to figure out if that blue one is the heavy, the Paz Vizsla. Oh no, there's two different ones. Okay, so yeah, Paz Vizsla is the other one. That's super interesting. The other blue one is Death Watch.
well, it's from that flashback, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very likely because I'm only assuming that it's Death Watch because that's the same armor that they wear in both the Clone Wars and Rebels cartoon.
There also was the announcement and release of the Birds of Prey pops. They just pretty much, were announced and came out, so that's cool. We also had some Mulan ones, some more Venomized Marvel characters. So there was a fair series of announcements there.
Yeah, the Venomized collection. It's still. I mean, I get it because Venom is awesome and it's fun to see that the symbiote on on other characters, but some of those make no sense to me. I am all in for the Venomized Groot though. That one looks really cool. I might have to pick that one up.
Yeah, that's a good one. The Birds of Prey ones look cool too.
They do. I'm really hyped for that movie.
Yeah, it should be good.
I was hoping there was going to be a black mask with the mask on pop.
I'm sure that will be later.
Yeah, because I saw they had two. They had two of the black mask ones. The
two of the Roman Sonus.
Yeah, yep. But without the mask. I think it's like a white suit and a black suit. I remembered what my other piece of news was.
Oh.
So Hasbro, behind the scenes, acquired One Entertainment, which is pretty cool. So they own, and this news is good for really
Entertainment One.
Yes, Entertainment One. Sorry, is good for parents with kiddos because that company has Hasbro now fully owns the rights to some IPs like PJ Masks, Peppa Pig, and Clifford the Big Red Dog, just to name three big ones, which spans across three different networks where that content is shown. But it's interesting, that much like My Little Pony, Transformers, those toys that they don't just own the toy manufacturing rights to, they actually own the property. They now own a very popular Disney kids show, a very popular Nickelodeon kids show, and then the third one is Clifford. So Scholastic, where you at? That's what I think of. I think of the old
like the book fair.
Yeah, the Scholastic book fairs. So I mean that's really cool that that they acquired that brand. Hasbro's just so big, they kind of have their hands in everything.
Mm-hmm.
We've had conversations with people where they've kind of complained about that, but at the same time, I think they're doing some really incredible work right now. So we'll see what they do with that acquisition. But that being the end of news, and toy news is going to be a little bit slow in the coming weeks. Toy Fair is the next to last weekend in February. Might be the last weekend in February. I think it's the 22nd, 23rd. Yeah, I think it's the 22nd through the 25th. In New York City. That's going to be where the majority of new news is coming. So anything big that a company is holding on to, a big toy manufacturer, they're going to be waiting for Toy Fair to unveil at this point. It just doesn't make sense people just spent a ton of money, getting, Christmases and Hanukkahs and, all the other December holidays taken care of and early January holidays. They're going to wait for February to come around to announce anything new. That way people can prepare to spend more money in the spring.
Yeah, you're not gonna get like the January 1st announcement of like when Mattel took over the WWE license or things like that.
Ooh, that was an anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So let's move into hauls. Dave, why don't you go first?
Okay. I mean, I got stuff as gifts. Like,
I'll count it.
all right. Got that whole WrestleMania 36 set. With Kofi and Mick Foley and Matt Hardy and Booker T and the Danny Davis Build-A-Fig, which is the Danny Davis Build-A-Figure referee is cool. Comes with 2 sets of hands, so you can do the kind of slapping the mat 3-count hand.
How's the articulation on it? Like, can you get him down in that, like?
You can do, or a reasonable facsimile thereof.
Okay.
I also got from you. I got the Batista and Becky Lynch elites.
That wasn't from me. That was from Santa Claus.
Okay. I also got my girlfriend got me for Christmas. She got me the Date Mike Funko Pop from The Office, and the Lego Batmobile from the '89 Batman, which is just fantastic. And I mean, it probably will take me at least a full day to do. So
Oh, I was gonna say you haven't begun yet.
no, those are ones I like to generally sit down and do to. Like, I don't like to leave them sitting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like when I did the Aston Martin, I did it in one day.
See, I'm the opposite. I
Did it in like 5 hours.
I like sitting and like first I gotta sort everything and I gotta like.
No, that's why the bags come numbered.
Oh, but even once the bag's numbered, like I open it and I line up all the pieces so that way I can just building Legos with Maddie is very different. She builds them like you do. She just opens the bag and kind of goes to town. But like me, I
Mhm.
like a nice big clean table and I like to set up all the individual pieces and super organized.
Nah. But yeah, that's a really cool set. That I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that done. I saw it in the Lego store. I saw that they have it built now. The Lego store at Garden State Plaza has it built above the Star Destroyer.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did get to see it, but behind glass.
I also found well, actually, you found the Kyrie Sane and Elias Elite 73s, which Elite 73s are out there. I also picked up a Sonya Deville Basic because I have no idea if I'm ever going to find that Elite, so I might as well just have the Basic just in case, because it was at Five Below, it was $5. So, and then the Series 3 Ultimate Editions are also starting to make their way out. I found Triple H.
Nice. Yeah, I saw the day that I found the Elias and the Sailor. I keep forgetting her name. I'm
Kyrie
sorry.
Sane.
Kyrie Sane. The day I found them, they had the Triple H from Series 73, the one with like the hood.
Yeah. From this past WrestleMania.
Yeah, good looking figure.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize there was an Ultimate coming.
Yeah, the Ultimate is more
The game, like he's got the long hair.
yeah, long hair, Attitude Era, the beret, so the McMahon Helmsley regime.
Oh, okay.
First world title. It comes with the big eagle.
That was a great belt. I got to hold that belt in real life.
Nice.
You get anything else?
No, that's it.
So I too got some cool stuff for Christmas. I got the Vulture figure from the Spider-Man Homecoming wave. Super cool figure. I'm really bummed at the fact that I originally said like I'm not going to put those wings together, but then I took him out of the box and I realized how kind of like dopey he looked with just the backpack. So I might be going down that road. We'll see how that goes. Some of those wing pieces cost as much as figures, and I I don't know if I want to do it. So I got that. I got the Ego and Star-Lord 2-pack from Guardians 2. Two incredible figures. I can't believe how different, how much better the face and head is on that Star-Lord versus the Guardians 2 that with the long coat that came out like right before it. Um, just such a good figure. What else did I get? Oh, and I got something I have been waiting for quite some time. I got the Return of the Jedi Jabba's Palace playset, and I'm gonna talk about it more later. So I'm just gonna leave that there. The day after Christmas, I found some crazy deals on Walmart.com. I for $24 total, I was able to get the vintage collection Chewbacca from A New Hope from the most recent wave of vintage collection figures, or one of the more recent waves of vintage collection figures. I got the Walmart exclusive Luke Skywalker Yavin ceremony with like the yellow jacket.
Yeah.
Brand new figure, like was released on Force Friday, $6. Um, which okay. And then I got the binary Captain Marvel that I said I wasn't gonna buy.
Mhm.
I've never seen it in person at a store, but they had it for $8. So I figured, at the very least, for the display, I can use some of the pieces and swap them out with the regular Captain Marvel. The one head looks a little funny to me, but having the glowing hands and stuff like that, like there's definitely some posability and stageability there. So I'm excited to pick those up. I actually just before we started recording got the notification from Walmart that they're ready to pick up. So I will pick those up tomorrow. And then lastly,
And the power was on.
yes, this time the power was on. Lastly, I picked up the Marvel Select Thanos, the Endgame Thanos, full armored. Um, he scales incredibly well with the Marvel Legends Avengers. Um, he actually scales better with them than the Build-A-Figures, the two big Build-A-Figure Thanoses that they put out. So I'm really excited to get him. Also he somehow miraculously actually works with some of the Marvel Legends pieces. So you can actually put the Endgame, the Nano Gauntlet on him, along with the unhelmeted head from the Build-A-Figure, and have that like final Endgame look Thanos, as he puts on the wrong gauntlet. Spoiler alert. But yeah, that's all I have. So I'm waiting for Disney to send me that. That'll be probably a week from now. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens with Toy Fair.
Mhm.
That's for in terms of things that I will be buying in the the future. I'm sure there will be some things that they reveal there.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see more stuff. I mean, we always tend to.
Yeah, Mattel, Hasbro, the big names will show heavily, very much so there. So we'll see what happens with that.
Hoping maybe we hear more like a series 2 for New Japan for Super 7.
Yep, we'll have to just wait and see. We're only a few weeks out. But 2019, speaking of Super 7 with the New Japan stuff and all the incredible Marvel Legends, and we mentioned I mentioned the Jabba's Palace playset. 2019 was a really really good year for toys overall.
It was. It was.
Um and we're just gonna kind of shoot from the hip here and talk about some things that we liked and things that we saw in 2019 that really kind of either caught our eye or got into our wallets. But we're not gonna talk about the stuff that's bad. There's a lot of bad toys out there, but why put that negativity in the world? So let's just talk about good stuff. Sound good?
Yeah, that works.
So I'll just throw this out here first. Something that I have seen over and over and over and over in the toy aisles. And it's actually from a franchise I'm very very fond of, and that's the Godzilla movies. There has been some awesome Godzilla toys. I full disclosure, we're like I mentioned, we're just kind of shooting from the hip here. I don't know who makes them, but they are awesome figures, and they make. And I'm not talking about the NECA ones, that you find in like the media sections in Target and Walmart. They're in the toy section. They're like by the dinosaur toys and the Jurassic Park toys and stuff, and they're just kind of the old school, like limited articulation where basically like the arms and tail move.
From the second movie or from?
No, it's like it spans everything. So like you could get like a black and white, 50s Godzilla in that line. And then they'll have I want to say it might be Playmates might make them. I think it's Playmates now that I'm thinking about it. But like you can get like old school Mothra. You can get um all the way up to like Skull Island King Kong and everything in between. King Ghidorah, Godzilla, the Godzilla from like 2014. Not just the American stuff, but the Toho Godzillas and everything. Um, and they're really cool. They remind me of I'm actually looking at it at my desk right now. I'm gonna hold it up so Dave can see what I'm talking about. But they're kind of like this. They're just those like solid chunks of plastic.
Like these?
Yeah,
Oh, those are Bandai.
they are Bandai. Yep, this one's Bandai too, actually. But they're super cool, and I mean they've been out for a long time. Like they've been making these, but I've just every time I go down the aisle, I feel like I pick one of those up and I go like these are still really cool, and I'm glad that like kids are buying them, and they always played really well because they're light but they're chunky, you know. Um, they're just great toys. They're great toys, and they nail the likenesses. The paint apps are always a lot of fun on them. Super colorful or black and white when necessary. Um, that's actually the one that I'm looking at now. I have a black and white original Godzilla, but it's always one of those things that catches my eye.
For me, one of them, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, we'll do it lightning round style, where we'll just kind of hop back and forth.
I'll start with the Galaxy of Adventures line, the Star Wars ones. Um, they were something that I considered dabbling in. Chose not to, not because of lack of quality of the toy, but just because I don't have room for the stuff that I have now, let alone for stuff that I haven't started on yet.
Yeah, and
But it's
they are super cool.
yeah, it's a really cool line of toys. It's good. Like if you go back to the episode with Yuma, we were talking about how it's really cool because it's a new scale, it's a new line, so it's good to if you good to get if you're going to be jumping in. But also what's neat is they have the action features where the toys do some sort of motion or some sort of action feature, for lack of a better word. Um, and they're pretty stylized. They have almost like I would say almost like a Clone Wars Rebels type of look to them.
Definitely.
And they're pretty great. They span the whole saga pretty much.
Yeah, and I actually can speak to the quality of them. We let Maddie pick out some toys after Christmas with some of the gift cards and money and stuff that she had, and she picked those out. And at the time, Target was doing a buy two get one free, so we ended up getting Rey, Kylo Ren, and Finn, and she wanted to open them immediately. So we did as soon as we got home, and they're super for a $10 figure. They are articulated almost identically to a Black Series figure. Down to like heel rockers and stuff on them. Like I mean,
Okay.
they really like you can make them hold a lightsaber with two hands. Um they have working holsters. So like Rey comes with her blaster, it fits snugly into her holster. Same with Finn's blaster and his. Um Kylo Ren's cloak is plastic. It's molded plastic, but he can wear it while still holding a lightsaber with two hands. Like I almost think that they don't know who the line was for. Like they made it with like kid friendly stuff, like the bright colors, the hyper stylization, but I almost feel like they had collectors in mind to a certain degree
Hmm.
because of some of the stuff that they're working into them. So like the Walmart exclusive Luke Skywalker from Return of the Jedi, you can actually take his vest off and he goes from like the Jabba's sail barge, Tatooine tunic to that like you know, pop open like weird like chest fold thing that he had on once they're on Endor. So I mean they consciously worked in like two very subtle looks to that character, and even the Black Series figure that they just put out doesn't do that.
Yeah, and then you have the Kylo Ren and Rey figures where the 2-pack figures are different from the
Mhm.
regular figures.
Yep.
So, different accessories for Rey and different.
Yeah, she comes with her staff in that set, I believe, and her lightsaber, and it only comes with the lightsaber and the blaster in the regular pack.
And then Kylo Ren has the removable mask in the 2-pack
Mhm.
and doesn't have the mask but has the cloak
Yeah.
in the single card.
Yeah, it's a super cool line. Unfortunately, I mean, they warmed the pegs for a while, and then got moved to the clearance section, and then disappeared. So I have no idea what the future holds for that line.
Um,
I know they have more coming out. They have a next wave announced
yeah.
with Darth Maul, Yoda, Boba Fett, um, Han Solo.
Well, Han Solo is out
Yeah, Han Solo
and
and
3PO. They
C-3PO.
were technically wave 1.
Yeah, they were added to the packs later. There's somebody else I'm missing in that second wave. It's Darth Maul, Yoda, Boba Fett. Is it Stormtrooper maybe? They had the regular Sith Trooper.
It might be.
I'm crossing the streams with the Disney toy box line because I know their Rise of Skywalker stuff is out, and that's actually very similar to what they look like. They're stylized almost to the degree of a Disney store toy box
Oh,
figure.
it's a a Sith jet trooper.
Good old Jethro Sith Trooper, complete with rock and flute solo.
Yeah, Jethro Tull.
They play flute now? You're supposed to say they play flute now. Yeah, no, good call on that line. That line was a surprise. I was pissed when they they announced that line. I was legit fucking furious that they had that line and not a standard 5 points of articulation 3 3/4 line.
And it's a 5-inch line, but I mean it's still really good.
It is.
It's something where if they did become available at the right price, I'll say this: the only one that the figure to me that was a miss was the vehicle,
Yeah.
but it's the only way to get a proper stormtrooper.
And I don't even think I think he articulates funny when you take him off. I think he's like meant to sit on that thing.
Yeah,
I have I have not seen a single picture of just that trooper standing.
and actually, you know what was to me was what led me to not get it was the vehicle.
Okay.
That made me make my decision because it was like I can't. You wouldn't want to not get the vehicle, but I don't like the vehicle.
Yeah. It's a perplexing choice only because like functionally speaking, without getting into like, you know, the nitpicking of Star Wars, why is it a belt-driven ground vehicle when
It's
everything
such
else
a
flies?
it's such a weird choice.
Yeah. It's but yeah, I get it. And it looks like one of those like cheapy toys.
Yeah, it does.
It does not
But
reflect on the rest of the line.
the rest of the line is off the charts. If you're gonna get just the figures, I mean, I'd be hard pressed to tell you not to. It's a really cool line.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It does not replace the standard 3 3/4 line in my heart, but I I understand I think I understand what they were trying to do with it. which is get people who have never collected anything to buy something. Um, and we'll see if they accomplish that. Um, I know I mentioned it before, but my absolute favorite toy of the year, hands down, without question, has been the Return of the Jedi Jabba's playset. Um, Return of the Jedi is I know it's not the best Star Wars movie, but sometimes I feel like it's my favorite. It was kind of how I was introduced to Star Wars. Those characters. Um, it's just like when I close my eyes and think of Star Wars, I think of all like the weirdo aliens and like you know, the the battles and like the bikes, the speeder bikes going through the forest of Endor and going to Disney World and the giant, AT-AT outside of Star Tours. And Star Tours always kind of had this very like Return of the Jedi vibe to like the front of it because you're walking through like the Ewok village and stuff. And I just have all these visceral memories of Return of the Jedi. And frankly, the original Star Wars toys from Return of the Jedi because you had them. So having Jabba's palace as a playset, I have a permanent cube dedicated to Return of the Jedi, which I have now updated and moved things around to make room for the new walls and stuff. But like just the little touches are great. Like the Han Solo and Carbonite is magnetic. They inserted a magnet into the back of it, so it actually like hangs on the wall and like can move a little bit. There's a switch on the back to raise it and lower it. So when you lower it, it drops to the floor. So you can really recreate scenes from the film. And I love the fact that they included two figures in the packaging, but they weren't in like poly bags. They were fully carded. So you had the opportunity to not only open and assemble the playset, but then actually open two figures on top of it. And it's Han Solo and Carbonite, which is necessary in order to get that wall hanging feature there. And then Reese, who's actually my favorite alien outside of Snoodles, in Jabba's palace. He's the one most famous for when Jabba and the rest of the palace wake up and kind of spring the trap on Leia and Han. He's the alien that has his hand over C-3PO's mouth. He's kind of like holding him back. Just a weird like I think he's got like 4 or 5 eyes. He looks more like something out of Men in Black, but he's just a classic Star Wars alien. But that has been my absolute favorite toy of the year, and I'm so happy to have it. And I hope they make more play sets. I would love like a Dagobah, like Yoda's hut play set to go with that Cave of Evil 3-pack they put out. I would love some Death Star stuff, like even if it's just kind of like a Death Star hallway or like a core reactor or something, so that way you can have like walls to play with.
You'd need the like conference room.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, and like give me like a vintage collection Admiral Modi, so that way I can have Darth Vader force choke somebody.
And you could have the missing seat for Krennic.
2 missing seats, Krennic and Thrawn.
Yeah.
Gotta love when a good retcon works. Yeah, Dave, back to you.
Back to me. What was another good toy for this year? I mean, there was a lot of cool unannounced stuff. Actually, I'll give you one. Because the more I've seen it, the more I think it's really unbelievably cool. And that's the Mario Kart. For I think it's a Hot Wheels set.
Oh, is that so our friend of the pod, Yuma, landed briefly on his journeys in order to deliver deliver the or deliver the message to Santa to deliver the Hot Wheels set to his meme son, right?
Yeah, his meme son, his actual son,
who is a meme. Yeah, no, really super cool set.
Yeah, that thing looks fantastic.
Yeah, and it reminds me of like some of the Hot Wheels and Matchbox stuff we had when we were kids with like all the
It
tracks and
reminds me of a Tyco RC
yes,
track.
spot on. Spot on.
It's
Yeah.
got, very much like a vibe to the game and to a roller coaster. Um, really cool looking set for Hot Wheels cars.
Yeah, for sure. And those are two things. Like one day we got to have a whole episode about. We got to do like a Hot Wheels episode. We got to find somebody who's like a big Hot Wheels collector.
Yeah, we need a Hot Wheels person.
So if you hear us out there and you are a big Hot Wheels or Matchbox collector, hit us up so that way we could talk Hot Wheels with you and you can teach us about Hot Wheels in 2020.
Yeah, accurate.
That would be awesome. Um, trying to think. There's been a lot. I mean, we've mentioned them a bunch of times, but the Hasbro Power Rangers figures are gorgeous. Um, the since they've taken over the brand from Bandai, they're producing 6-inch scale figures that are out of this world. 2019 for I think across the board, for both Mattel and Hasbro, what they've been able to accomplish with the new faces.
Yeah, the face scan technology, and apparently, like when you get into the more current elites, 72, 73, 74, there are some uncanny likenesses.
Oh yeah, that the Triple H figure is one of those.
Supposedly the Natalia figure is one of the best ever.
Yeah, it's that tech has come such a long way in 2019 across the board. Whether you're looking at the Power Rangers figures, like a likeness like Tommy, the Green Ranger, White Ranger, is easily one of the most recognizable, people from that brand, with his signature ponytail. And they've just nailed that likeness. And, of course the Marvel Legends, they just get better and better. The Kate Blanchett likeness on the Hella figure was probably my favorite of that for the year. They just and uncanny is the right word. Like it's crazy how they look like little people. Even on the 3 3/4 scale with some of the Star Wars figures, like you put the new Rise of Skywalker Rey up next to the one from The Last Jedi, and it's just there's no question how far they've come with what they're doing with the faces, where they look they look like little people. They look like little real people,
Hmm.
sitting there posing. So I'm really curious once you start really getting into opening all of your elites, like you know you getting a ring, because you have a very photographic eye. So I'm excited to see what you do with some of those figures once you open them.
Yeah, I've got ideas. Another kind of great toy. We talked about the '89 Batmobile, but I think one of the Lego sets that has just been phenomenal to the point where I don't have it yet because I haven't been able to find it, but it's one that's been on my list of things to find was Central Perk, the
Oh,
Friends set.
yeah.
It is awesome. To the point where they've made it look like a TV studio.
No shit.
Yeah, there's like TV lighting on it, which is really cool. And it comes with the main cast and Gunther, which is also really cool. But yeah, it's a neat little Central Perk set, and it's very kind of well priced for the set that it is, and for the number of minifigs that you get. I think it's like a $70 set.
That's not terrible.
Um, but it looks like it's a lot of fun to build, and it's a pretty iconic location
Yeah, for
in
sure.
TV history.
While we're on the topic of Lego, another Lego set that came out this year that I absolutely loved was the Upside Down, the Stranger Things set.
Yeah,
That
that's a cool set.
absolutely unreal. With the fact that you can rotate it, and it's Will's house, right?
Yeah,
it's
it's Will's house.
yeah. Um, so cool. Like that is. I love when Lego really kind of delivers on the imagination end of the bargain.
Well, that and it has, Hopper's truck in it too, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a great set. It's expensive, but it's a great set.
There were a lot of good Star Wars sets too. Like there's a Mustafar Duel that just came out. They did like a second Mandalorian set. Um,
Yeah, because it's this year they're celebrating, 2019 they were celebrating the 20th anniversary of Lego
the
Star
license,
Wars.
yeah. But it's they've just recently announced now that the movie and the show have completed the kind of, I'll say, the spoiler sets.
Yeah. With like, do they have one with the child yet? Has there been a child Lego?
No, none yet.
I'm very careful now that I've heard that Jon Favreau gets mad when people call the child Baby
Baby Yoda.
Yoda. I'm very careful now. I want to, just in case he ever hears anything that I say, which he likely never will. I want to make sure that I am in Jon Favreau's good graces, because everything that man touches is wonderful. I saw a really, a little off topic, but I saw a really great meme where it was like, Jon Favreau decides to make a Christmas movie, makes Elf, instant classic. Jon Favreau decides to make a superhero movie, makes Iron Man, kicks off the MCU. Jon Favreau decides to make a movie about food, makes one of the most important and accurate chef movies ever. Jon Favreau decides to get involved with Disney, gives us the child. It's like the man can do no wrong. He could do no wrong. He's wonderful.
I feel like that would be like the Black Series figure I'll get.
Oh, I want a Happy Hogan figure so bad.
Oh no, I meant the child.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's out. It's $10.
Yeah, it's $10. I mean,
It's $10 and it's to scale, so it'll be probably like 1.75 inches tall.
comes with a frog.
They said that they're gonna make it in the vintage collection,
Okay.
and that was exactly my reaction. It was like, please don't make me pay for him on his own. Please pack him with somebody.
I mean, did they make porgs for the vintage collection?
They didn't make porgs for the vintage collection, but they did make them in the 3 3/4 scale. The Last Jedi.
There was an Ochto.
No, it was. I have it right here. Came with Chewie.
Okay.
Super tiny.
Yeah.
He's real little. After the movie came out, I was seeing a bunch of because the Chewbacca figure that he came with was not great. But I saw so many Chewbaccas on the shelves with the porgs missing, because people were literally like, the porg was sitting at the bottom of the package, so people were literally just poking holes in the bottom and pulling the porg out through the bottom, because people are awful. But like, at the same time, porg,
I almost got the Black Series porg.
You did. You
I
did.
didn't,
I
but-
was there when you almost got the Black Series porg.
I did buy the Lego Advent Calendar this year specifically for porg and a Santa hat.
You have another good porg story about isn't it Kinder eggs?
Yeah, there was a Kinder Egg for Star Wars, and one of the toys was Chewie holding the porg. And I'm like, I'll just get one. They're delicious. And I pulled the Chewie holding the porg.
Because of course you did.
Yeah. Great story too. When before Last Jedi came out, we went to Disney, and I'm wearing my 3 Porg Moon shirt, and one of the photographer goes, "Really? You don't even know what they do yet?" I go, "They're gonna save the galaxy. Who cares?"
They're gonna fuck up the inside of the Millennium Falcon, was the answer. And they're gonna be a Chewy snack. They were in the Rise of Skywalker. They made it.
Yeah, they were there. I raised my arms in victory. I will say this: the child 10-inch Funko Pop will be there. That will be my second 10-inch Funko Pop to go with Porg.
The only child toy that I've pre-ordered is the Hasbro, the one that makes noises, like the plush that's the size of the actual child from the show.
Okay, I'll be in the parks next week, so I was looking to see if there was going to be anything there.
Well, Disney did announce their like Shop Disney plush
I
Baby
know.
Yoda, and it's just like one of their Disney.
It's
makes,
a stuffed animal,
but they make the best stuffed animals.
Yeah.
Like their plush line is just.
I still have a Figment from 30 years ago,
they
35
they're
years ago.
so good. Like I love my corduroy Steamboat Willie plush. But yeah,
But yeah, spoiler alert, that's not next episode, but the following.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we've covered a lot. We could sit here all night and talk about how awesome 2019 was.
I didn't even talk about wrestling figures.
Yeah, but we always talk about wrestling figures and Star Wars. So next week's episode is we're really excited. I had an opportunity to interview Weapon X Customs. He does incredible Marvel Legends work. And you'll hear from him on the episode in 2 weeks. While Dave is traipsing around
The Magic Kingdom.
the Magic Kingdom, and also while he's competing in a 10K, right?
Yeah, competing.
Hey, you're
While he's building a lightsaber in Galaxy's Edge.
so jealous. Well, with that, I think that's how we're gonna wrap it up.
All right, cool.
Consider it wrapped.
Org.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both on our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.